What's going on, everybody? Spaceballs here. Welcome back to another Skylanders video. Alright everyone, I'm super excited because today we're going to talk about the best heroics, or the best starting heroics. Well, I don't even want to say the best starting heroics because there's just so many heroics in this game that are usable. Some are better when starting off. So this is going to be in no particular order or anything like that, but what I do want to do is go over 5 of the best starting ones, or the 5 that I think are best starting off. But this also comes down to team synergy as well. As you guys know, you're not just building one Skylander, you're building team synergy. And that is really important to remember, just like when you're building your first legendary. So what I'm going to do here is go over the 5 best starting ones, or the ones that I think are the best starting off. And then we'll also touch on a few as well, because there is just a ton of heroics in this game that are usable. Almost all of them are usable at this point, the more I think about it. But I did want to touch on a few of them, because some are better than others. And it's funny that Road Brawler pops up here, because Road Brawler is probably one of the best starting heroic Skylanders in the game. Now, I know a lot of you guys already know this, but everything about Road Brawler is just fantastic. She is an attack-based unit. She has one of the best leader skills in the game. And one thing I want to explain here is the leader passive on the top. This actually applies to the Skylander no matter what. And then the second leader effect, that applies to the whole team when she is leader. So even if she's not leader, she's still getting the top, which is the leader passive, and that's increased critical rate by 20%. So she's always increasing her own critical rate by 20% when she's maxed out. This does need to be 7 in order for it to be 20%. And that goes for every single Skylander in the game. I know a lot of people were confused about that, so I just wanted to throw that in here as well. Now, looking into Road Brawler's kit, her A2, this hits like an absolute truck. This only costs 1 mana, and this can almost one-shot a squishy Skylander. And it also puts up a diminish if she doesn't take it out in that turn. And then her A1, again, is probably one of the best A1s in the game. Better than most legendaries, to be honest. Well, I don't want to say most, but better than a lot of legendaries. And this is an AoE, diminished knockdown poison. I absolutely love my Road Brawler. You guys know that by now. You actually get her for free from 7/7 normal campaign. So if you haven't built your Road Brawler, definitely do so. And now the next one I want to go over, but just also remember that this is in no special order or anything like that. As far as these 5 heroics go, you can't go wrong in building any of them, especially starting off, because they all are fantastic Skylanders, and they will literally be used throughout the entire game, whether it's PvP, PvE. When they add new content, guild content, they will always be usable, and that's why I put these as the best 5 starting heroics. Next will be Stink Bomb, and you guys already know that Stink Bomb, hands down, one of the best Skylanders in the game once again. Like, not just for an heroic, but just even compared to some legendary, Stink Bomb is hands down never a wrong choice to put in your team. Now, he's also got a pretty decent leader skill. I mean, compared to Road Brawlers, it's not as good, but it can be used. I made the mistake of maxing it out, so I do use it time to time. But if you don't need his leader skill, I wouldn't recommend wasting skill ups on it. And that goes for any leader skill. I mean, yes, you do get the extra for himself, but unless you're actually going to use the leader skill, I wouldn't waste skill ups right away, especially early on, because you guys know it's so hard to get skill ups in this game. Same thing with Portal Master skill ups. They are just so hard to come by, because there is no way to get Portal Master skill ups except for in the shop. And as far as skill ups go for your Skylanders, you can only get them from Merge Tower, which is once a month. So you have to be very stingy with where you put them. Now, same thing for Stink Bomb here. He's got his A2, which again is 1 mana. This A2 actually puts an evasion rate up on himself, and at the same time, it does an accuracy down on the opponent. So these two paired together is really good. You'll notice your Stink Bomb evading a lot of attacks. He's actually considered a support unit, not an attack unit, but he actually does dish out really good damage. But at the same time, he's really good at evading, hefty attacks. I notice mine is doing it all the time. So that's why I love Stink Bomb on my main team, along with my Road Brawler. And then we got the A1 here. Again, a really good A1. Hits really hard. You got a poison and a diminish. And this hits one enemy 2 times. Fantastic A1. Again, I'm going to say Stink Bomb is one of the best Skylanders in the game, even compared to some legendaries. So if you have him, definitely build him. And as far as Road Brawler and Stink Bomb goes, you guys already know that I love them and I use them every day, and they're part of my main team. Now, the next one here is going to be Schmolderdash. Schmolderdash might be one of the best heroics in the game, arguably. I mean, all of these heroics can be arguably the best. Some people might like ones better than others. Some people might like bombers. Some people might like poisoners. It really all depends what you're into and what your playstyle actually is. I am actually currently building my Dash, and she's an attack-based unit, and she's fire, and she is a bomber. And with the new Portal Master Reno, she's actually really, really good in a bomb team with Reno as the Portal Master. So you can have something like Amber, Dash, Blast Zone, something like that. And you are going to be dishing out some hefty damage. Again, Dash has a very good leader skill. She increases her own attack by 30% and her own accuracy by 25%. Again, this has to be maxed out. And that is always on herself. And then you have the leader effect when she's in the leader slot. And that increases attack of fire element team members by 20%. This is a great leader skill. You will find yourself using it all the time, especially if you're running a fire bomb team. Then you have her passive. Awesome passive, because what this does is it stops her from being able to die right away. So if she is squishy and she gets targeted, she will still be able to take a turn. She will put 30% attack on herself, and then in the following turn, she will use her A2 or her A1. Again, her A2 is super strong. You got defense down by 10%, and you got a knockdown. Unfortunately, this only hits one enemy. I wish this was an AoE. It's not. I guess if it was, she would just be too broken. But then you got the A1, and she puts up a bomb, and she has the uncoverable, which really comes in handy with all those Kingpens and Zulus in PvP content. I actually find myself using her a lot lately. I absolutely love my Dash. Next down the list here, we have Airstrike. And I'm sure a lot of these are familiar to you guys. Maybe if you guys are just starting the game, then you don't know. And that's really what I'm gearing this video towards. Same thing with the legendary video. And after this video, we're going to do rares and then premiums. This way we can just cover them all. So for the new players that are just starting the game, they'll know how good these heroics, legendaries, premiums, and rares are, just like we do. Now again, with Airstrike, I'm working on mine. I don't have them super boosted, and I don't like to build units unless I have them close to max super boosted, because they just don't shine, especially in this game when the stats make such a difference and it unlocks their skills. Super boost is just very important. So you also have to take that in consideration. So maybe you don't have some of these units super boosted, and maybe you didn't know another unit was really good. So maybe you have that one super boosted, so now you can build that one instead of this one. But hey, you never know. Everybody's boxes are different. So we have the leader skill here. I really don't see anybody using his leader skill. Now, it's really good for himself because he gives himself 30% accuracy when it's maxed out. But I'm not sure you want to max this out just for himself, because again, skill ups are really hard to come by, and I'm sure you want to get all of your heroics skilled up and not just do their leader skills. And then you have the leader effect, which is accuracy up by 10%. Really not that great. So for himself, it's great, but not great for a whole team leader skill, especially when you compare it to like Roll Brawler or Dash. You're just never going to find yourself using this in the team leader slot. And then we got the passive, and this is a really good passive because he removes a buff effect and he gives himself a random beneficial effect. Really, really strong passive, especially in the new Sky Arena. And then we got the A2 with a knockdown, and this actually does really, really good damage, I was noticing. So on top of the knockdown, he's actually really dishing out some heavy damage. And again, this is only 1 mana cost, so really cheap to use and will be up constantly. And only on a 2-turn cooldown, so really, really good A2. Same thing with his A1. It is 3 mana, but he does do a diminish and a defense down by 20%, not 10%. So that is actually really strong. Airstrike is a really strong heroic. Do not sleep on your Airstrike. Next one here we're going to go over is Sharpshooter. Again, I don't think a lot of people realize how good Sharpshooter is. He is a fantastic heroic unit. He's attack based. We have his leader skill here. He gives himself 15% accuracy. And then whenever the enemy evades your attack, additionally increase your effect accuracy by 35%. So if he gets evaded, he's going to boost his accuracy even more. Really, really good for himself. Now again, this leader effect is better than Airstrikes, because Airstrike's only 10%. This is actually 20%. So if you were going to use one of them, he would be better in the leader role. I really don't see anybody using him as a leader role because there's just so many better ones like Spitfire. And the list just goes on and on. So you probably won't be focusing on his leader skill too much, but the rest of his skills are actually really good along with his passive. If your HP is below 40%, increase your attack by 25% and defense penetration by 10%. And that actually sets him up for huge damage on his A2 and his A1. Now his A2 is like a bomber and it puts up an explosion, but it also does really nice damage. And this just does damage to one enemy. It is a 3 mana cost with a 2-turn cooldown, but this skill actually hits really hard. And then we have his A1, again, one of the best A1s in the game, only 2 mana cost. and he does a knockdown, diminish, and evasion rate down. I think a lot of people don't realize how good evasion rate down is, especially with all these evade teams in PvP content. He is actually really, really good and hits really, really hard, and this A1 really comes in handy. And he has a really high endurance down, which I don't think a lot of people notice on his A1 as well. So Sharpshooter, a really good heroic unit. Do not sleep on him. Now, I think that was 5. So we went over Road Roller, Stink Bomb, Schmolderdash, Sharpshooter, Airstrike. So now that was 5. And now I do believe that those are the 5 best starting heroic Skylanders when you're starting off. Now, there is a lot of other ones, as you guys know. Pop Fizz, fantastic heroic unit. But again, he does need to be fully super boosted and fully skilled up for him to really shine. Because the way his transform works, if he's not fully skilled up, he will not work properly. Because he'll like use his transform and then he won't proc into his next skill. But Pop Fizz, when fully maxed out, is a really good heroic unit. Again, we have Gear Shift. She's mostly for defense because of her high evasion rate, leader skill. And she just fits on an evasion tech team so well. Really good. Same with Sprocket paired with Gear Shift. Like these two paired together is kind of the meta right now as far as defense goes in PvP content. So don't sleep on these two. But again, I wouldn't start off building these two. But these are really good Skylanders to build when you're focusing on your PvP defense. Now, I don't really want to go over Light and Darks too much. Chopscotch, I'm hearing, is actually really, really good for like these Kingpins and all of this stuff that's going on in Arena. These Max Zulus and Kingpin combo, because he will actually take the provoke. I don't know if it's a he or she. Everybody's like debating this. We're going to stick with a he for now. I do think it's a she though. Who knows really? But the fact that she steals the provoke is so strong in PvP content. But again, I wouldn't focus on her right away, but something good to build later on. And the reason I'm not going to hit on the LDs here is because every single LD is usable and good. But again, it's going to be so hard for you to super boost them that you're not going to be worried about them early on. And if you do have a maxed heroic LD unit, you are most likely going to be using it. I can tell you that for sure. Now, I don't really see anybody using Fiesta too much. I know he's pretty good because he removes debuffs, but I just think that Dive Clops shines a lot more. Now, I don't have Dive Clops. I wish I did, because if I did, I would definitely be using him as my stripper. But because I don't have him, I'm actually building Pit Boss, because Pit Boss is one of the best strippers right now in the game. But he's a legendary, so we won't talk about him too much. Again, Barbella, another really good PvP Skylander. But again, I wouldn't really build him right away. Then we have Trigger Happy, again, another really good PvP Skylander. And like I said, most of these Skylanders are usable and good later on. Same thing with Flarewolf. I'm actually building him right now, but again, I feel like he is more strictly PvP based. And this dude hits like a truck, let me tell you. He one-shots my Stink Bomb and Stealth Elf all the time. So I'm actually working on my Flarewolf as we speak. Same thing with Jetvac and Wildfire, again, really good for PvP content, but you won't be building them as your first Skylanders. So I think we covered pretty much all of them. And again, Tree Rex, another really good heroic, because I feel like most of these heroics are good, because same thing like with Freeze Blade and Super Shot, Stealth Elf, like really good heroic units, but they're kind of niche in a way, and you're mostly going to be using them in the Sky Arena or in just PvP content in general, or like new content when it comes out for like guilds. Whatever it is, but more PvP based and not necessarily when you're trying to just clear content in general, like Cyclops, you know, Merge Tower, Substigation, stuff like that. These ones are going to come more later on, and I'm not saying building them is wrong. I'm just saying you probably don't want to build them as your first heroic Skylanders. And again, Tree Rex is a fantastic unit since he got buffed so many times. Now he's a force to be reckoned with on arena defense. So I think that covers everything I wanted to go over about heroics for this one. Eventually, I'm going to start doing individual guides on the Skylanders once I start getting more built. In the next video, I will go over rares, and then after that, I'll go over premiums, and then we'll start doing individual Skylander guides. So I hope that helps you guys out when building your first heroic Skylanders. If you guys want to be a part of the sub celebration giveaway, we're going to be picking the winner in 2 days. And that video is going to be linked down below. All you have to do is go to the video, sub to the channel, comment on the video, and that will automatically enter you into the giveaway. If you want to be a part of the Discord giveaway, that is linked down below with my Twitch. As always, I love each and every single one of you. I will see you in the next one. Spaceballs out. Peace.